All right. How are you guys? My name is Greg Cummings. I'm the CEO of Power100, and we are here on PowerChat, joined by a couple of heavyweights in the home remodeling industry. We have Dan Marvin, the president of Infinity by Marvin, as well as Patrick Rinard, the CEO of B Window in Indiana. Guys, welcome.
Thank you, Greg. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. Appreciate you having us on the show today.
Absolutely. Now, we have a combination of you guys on the show today for a number of reasons, but the most important thing is that the combination of what you all offer the homeowners in Indiana is really the best remodeling experience that we see, possible out there. So before we get started, I do want to catch the listeners up as far as Power100 and what we do in this industry, and then we'll dive into some collaborations on how y'all work together and what the benefits are. Is that all right?
Sounds good,
cool.
Greg.
Cool. So again, we're Power100. We are a national publishing company that focuses on ranking the top 100 CEOs across the country. Now, when we did that, a lot of conversations happened, right? And through our questioning and through our conversations, two things really came out of those conversations. One, CEOs were very quick to tell us what worked for their business. Two, they were very quick to ask us how to fill specific gaps in their business. So that naturally led us to do what we do best, and that's source the best data, run it through our 5-layer proprietary ranking system, and then put out and publish those lists. So that's what we did. We published the top 15 strategic partners. And so we've had tremendous success with that. Then from there, we continued to listen, and they've asked us to then source the best partners and manufacturers out there. Now, that list is going to be available in July, but I don't want to any spoiler alerts, but Infinity by Marvin, Dan, you and your team have scored very, very high. We don't know exactly where you're going to fall, but, a valiant effort so far.
Great to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So the home improvement, we are the only 100% unbiased third-party platform, and it's designed to be the strongest customer advocate across the whole country. And so everything that we do, we want to make sure we look at it from a consumer standpoint, that they are getting the best product from the best company, or at least have the understanding and knowledge of what's out there, right? And then behind that, we actually publish these lists, and we show our due diligence, and we produce our results from our 5-layer proprietary ranking system. So without further ado, in my kind of Power100 highlight there, over. Dan, would you mind maybe a brief introduction of yourself, as well as maybe elaborate on how Marvin continues to set the bar specifically in the window and door manufacturer space?
Sure. So just a little bit about myself, Dan Marvin, president of Infinity from Marvin. Been in the business for over 25 years now. And a little bit about Marvin. We are a family business, have been in business for over 100 years. I'm in the 4th generation of the family, and
Wow.
we have a 5th generation that are in their 20s coming into the business. There's a lot of them. 40 plus, so we're planning on a lot of growth over the next.
There's 40 plus family members that are coming up in the business
in the 5th generation now.
Wow.
Now we have 2 that have joined the business. They're in their 20s.
Okay.
The rest of them are younger, so we got to grow for the future and create opportunities for them as we go along here.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So. Marvin is I mentioned family owned, but also family operated. And the family owned isn't that different out there in business, but I would say family operated is pretty different these days. And we believe that gives us a strong competitive advantage in the market. Everybody that's in the ownership group at Marvin is working in the business, is interacting with our key stakeholders on a daily basis. Of course, our employees, our teams that manufacture the products, and then just as importantly, maybe more importantly, our partners in the field, our network of independent partners. We're working with them every day. We have relationships with them. We hear the challenges, we hear the opportunities, we take that back and work on, improving the business and making good decisions for the long-term health of Marvin. Maybe a couple things, other things about Marvin. We have a real intense focus on our products and experiences we provide to the marketplace. Our name's on the business. Super important to have high quality, high value products and experiences. And one other thing that's super important for us is our channel partners. We've spent decades, generations, really forging relationships with the best partners in the industry, and that's a real competitive advantage for us.
No doubt. I appreciate that. Now, Patrick, I want you to also kind of introduce yourself high level. I think most people out there have probably already seen your pop in, watched the interview that we've done with you. We've had a chance to sit down and really get to know you and your business, and we've been very impressed. You're the number 12th ranked CEO in the country as far as Power 100's rankings go. You're a top 10 dealer with Infinity, and you've used Infinity for 10 years now, Patrick? Is that right?
Yeah, it's been 10 years, since we become a dealer with Infinity. That's correct.
Awesome. Would you mind maybe introducing yourself briefly, as well as kind of highlight a B window? But more importantly, can you go into, from your perspective, why you continue to use Infinity by Marvin and how that kind of plays a role into B Window's overall goals and expectations?
Yeah, sure, Greg. I've been in the construction industry since 2000, so going on 24 years now. I started out my first company when I was 22 years old, right out of college. I was fortunate enough to be able to sell that, and I started 4 more after it. The last 3 being in the mortgage industry, the construction industry, and also in real estate, and operated those for about 19 years. And my favorite of all of them was the construction company, basically taking a piece of dirt and eventually growing it to a homeowner's most valued asset, and getting that just that feeling of gratitude that the customer gave back after we built them a quality product. So I think when this opportunity came along just about 8.5 years ago, when I was approached by George and Pam, who are the owners of B Window, and he sat down and he showed me their model. And at the time, they had been in business, I think, probably 33 years, and very successful business. And to see a husband and wife grow a family owned, and at the time they had kids that were working with the business as well, so successfully in the state of Indiana. At the time, was probably one of the most recognizable private brands in the state of Indiana. And he coupled the fact of construction and dealing with the consumer on a sales basis was probably my 2 favorite things. And so it was really a perfect fit for me to be able to join the ranks of his in what they built for 33 years and just continue to grow it. The values that they have is family. I think we're currently right about 100 employees now. A lot of them have been there for over 30 years, which is pretty incredible. There's been people that have retired since I've joined the company 8 years ago that have been with the company for 30 plus years. Some of them just in sales. Some of them are in installation. Some of them are in service. Some were in the call center. So just that value system and the core belief that the customer comes first, and then the employees and their tenure and their experience come next. And that was always George and Pam's mantra. And so when I joined the company, that's what I was attracted to. I was attracted to that family oriented type feeling, but also it was business. And the fact that we could go into a consumer's home and improve their most valued asset and walk away with a friend and someone who was just a raving fan, was just that's what I was looking for in my career. So in Marvin, we started with him 10 years ago. So I think George had signed an agreement with Marvin 2 years prior to me coming on board. And at the time, they had a license with Renewal by Andersen. And I think they'd had that for about 12 years. And I remember talking to George, and I asked him a specific question. I said, George, Andersen is a national brand like Pella and like Marvin. So of the three national brands, what made you choose to go from an Andersen, which is a national brand, to a Marvin, which is also a national brand? What was the deciding factors? And he said, it's not the fact that Andersen is a bad product or a product that you wouldn't want to recommend putting in somebody's home. He said, we just found one better. That was his exact words. There was nothing wrong with it. We just found a better product all around, something that we could truly get behind, had the same core value system as Pam and George did, family owned, and at the time it was family operated. And I look at all of our employees as family. So even though George and Pam currently don't have any family members in the business, I'll say this, they're selling it to the employees. So we will become an ESOP here within the next probably 3 months. So it will continue to be a family run business with the family core system that George and Pam created so many years ago.
That's cool. That's powerful. That's amazing. You don't see that every day when owners have the opportunity to sell a business or move away or exit on a different note. But when they decide to go ESOP and reward those folks that have been working so hard over those years, like you've mentioned, that's a powerful testament to the culture and the values of B Window. And that's obviously goes into our ratings when it comes time to, ranking the best, executives and leadership teams out there. So hats off to you.